Hi everybody. Today I was thinking about how to be in sync with seniors who are toxic in nature. Each of us has faced that kind of problem at workplace, and in the context of my mm, vision, which is calm, a calmer, cooler, and greener globe, do I then think or uh, take this into account if there is toxicity at workplace and I focus on synchronizing work amongst ourselves within the team, harmonization of work, how do I then think of sensing with senior toxicity? Understanding toxicity in the workplace, you need to understand what it is. Most of the time we think beyond all these problems, beyond the toxicity. We think in terms of taking revenge and all. It is not revenge, it is just the insecurities and the power dynamics where the person doesn't want you to be eliminated. The other person wants you to be subdued. Impact of toxicity on workplace culture when your free will is kind of suppressed and you do not find any place where you can tell your side of the story, how much you have contributed, and there is no recognition, then there is a negative uh, impact on the workplace culture. Somebody is doing something very negative, and the other person thinks is never recognized. Then it seems lopsided, right? And the other person thinks that they are doing everything possible, and you are thinking that you have done more than what is required, and you also have invested in your imagination. Signs of toxicities are lack of transparency. The other person says bare minimum to you as possible. There is micromanagement. There is lack of support. There is negative feedback loop. There are power struggles. Challenges faced by mid-level seniors in the development sector. Navigating hierarchical structure. This is the first step wherein you do not uh, seem to get through the impervious hierarchical structure where your voice doesn't go upwards. It is suppressed or misinterpreted at your immediate senior level. They interpret according to their convenience, sometimes to their advantage, putting you as the person who is non-performing and kind of project themselves as the best who is there and as if everybody else is doing their worst. I tell about my senior. I do not take him as senior because he depends on me about finding a solution, and kind of they work on my solution. So how do I think that they are the seniors? The one thing that I agree that I do is he doesn't allow me to take much of the risk and play safely. There is a limit to play safe when there is innovation required. Innovation is one thing which will take you to the next level. So, how to balance leadership and expectations? I have this strategy. I'll do as much as he asks. Even in this, there are a lot to do, lot many things that he thinks that needs to be done. And once you are into that, you can challenge the toxic person with a variety of things that can be done. And it doesn't have to be very hostile from our part. When we kind of outline our expectations, both the sides, it sometimes creates respect for you. Although the other person might not feel you to be the right person to take it forward with, but he doesn't have a clue after some time, right? So you have to have that thing. So balance leadership with expectations. You don't have to work with one leader only. Always spread in a toxic environment. As it is, toxic environment is all about communication and networking with many team members. So you have to first spread yourself into the organization with different leadership, spreading out ideas and clear your communication channels with them, establish role clarity. If the other person is very tough and trying to suppress you on somewhere, then you can have that role clarity and do not go beyond that. Building support systems, because you are now part of several reporting structure, you can build this supporting system as well. Then how do you find the unrecognized contributions which is impacting your moral? Everybody knows it is very toxic, and when somebody is it it is just not one thing, it goes on to several things. It diminishes moral motivation and lower engagement. It increases burnout. Retention is affected. Organizational performance is reduced. Creativity is nowhere to be seen, and productivity. How do you cope with unrecognition in that case? Ask for feedback and keep on doing your imperfect actions. It is not that directly dealing with that person, because one to one you cannot. It will lead to a lot of friction and lot of complaints. You may be implicated in certain situations which you haven't done. That is um, one of the strategy that these negative minded people do. So always build on your work. Empowering strategies for addressing workplace toxicity. Overcoming toxicity through empowerment, open communication, boundary setting, conflict resolution, success stories. Always, always stay, stay communicative to others, and do not allow anybody to come beyond a particular boundary. Cultivate resilience in toxic environment by power of resilience, your support network, self-care practices, open communication culture, a supportive community amongst mid senior levels, cultivating resilience in toxic environment. No matter how much you try and whatever you try, all these will stay for some time. So build a supportive community with collaboration, then shared experiences, empowering voices. Find out a way or two as to how you will do this and build trust. Build trust at several levels. It is never one to one, as I say. Toxicity may be with one person, but it can be countered only by distributing your trust with several people. It cannot be just with just that person. That will straight away counter the toxicity in his behavior. Creating mentorship and peer support programs, positive work environment, enhanced professional growth. If you are learning and growing, the other person cannot stay at the same level. You might grow as much as the other person. So wait for your turn. Recognition and appreciation in the workplace. How do you do that? Importance of recognition is very important in employee engagement. It is as much as little as 69%. It can go up. Enhances motivation. So how do you do that? Do value and motivate yourself, increase engagement, measure effectiveness. Real life effectiveness and solution. How did you resolve the workplace and gone on with your work system? Build a case study of resolving workplace conflict. You have some conflict of interest. How did you overcome that? Building a supportive community. How did you build a supportive community as all at all? These are your work. These are your homework. Like how did you resolve workplace conflict? Give yourself a success story at the end of the day. How did you went beyond your own one-to-one to one-to-many? Empower peer support and create a positive work environment for long-term success. It is impact of leadership, power of communication, continuous improvement. If you focus on these, then your focus will not go towards the toxicity the other person is trying to create. Whenever there is toxicity, you need to know that the other person is trying you to be little, and don't care about that. Go beyond this. Productivity and retention, well-being indicators importance, survey insights for improvement, and as I always say, performance tracker is the most important thing. Hope all this brings you some insights into how to get your focus into doing positivity and not getting focused on the workplace toxicity. That should be your warning bell for setting yourself right, setting boundaries right at workplace. Hope this helps and thank you for watching. If you want to have a discussion with me, There is a link there in the description. Please go and book a call with me. Set your speaking slot. Be booked. Thank you for watching.